the choice of G2. It was a bit of a blunder. It was a bit of a bust. And these T's of GODSENT, they've got blood in the water on Nuke. A map they play quite frequently, 12 times in the last 3 months. And with a plus 65% win percentage. But what's more important is the fact that Amanek and Co have pushed into the lobby as the T's attempt to go over towards ramp. Jax is going to get pressured here. Farley trying to trade it. Everybody just kind of staving off for the moment. Madden, he's in hell. He's starting to wrap back and flank. There are flanks upon flanks, but the room of which all of the death should come in from is that ramp room. They've got the bomb, James. They're sitting on it.
With 1 minute on the clock. Just a wisp of wind in the background as they try to hold all angles. Crystal and Zen to do what they can. Creeping. A reload here and there. An unorthodox boost from Armanek. A footstep underneath the ramp. You can see Crystal deliberately running distraction now. The question is, where is the other player? And you can see the entire focus is on that. No one cares about Crystal. They know where he is, but Zen gets a kill regardless. Crystal still running distraction, threatening. Thwarting G2 as well as Armanek stuck in the corner. That was a rough spot for all concerned. And it's one of those weird ones where Crystal's doing the captain obvious stuff, but Zen still makes it work. Kind of makes it more obvious that Zen's about to creep on him in a professional match, but he still gets the kills.
It's like it's glaringly obvious that like there's something else coming in, you know. And I can't believe Zen just wraps it up with the 3 Glock headshots. I mean, regardless of what Zen regardless of what Crystal's doing down beneath the ramp, it took something special there from Zen, and he delivered. So we've got GODSENT coming hot off of train, immediately in with a pistol, but of course the Force. And check out Kenny S. He's tucked behind Little Blue, keeping eyes on the cross as 3 T's stack up behind Red Box. Then, because of the squeaky pressure, he decides to go spam some shots through smoke, and that causes his untimely death. Now those T's, they can swarm outer if they would choose to, but instead they head downstairs. They're going to use a little bit of their utility, try to burn out those corners, try to figure out where the defense is at. But Jax, he's tucked in dark with another CT above him in Nexa.
Hunter will take Crystal out from the back, and the score is suddenly tied. But what about the position? That's the most important thing, and there's plenty of position for GODSENT, although that could quickly change. Stiko and Farley with a combined 10 HP. If G2 can find the right players, then maybe they can do something. But with the implied odds of a 2 versus 4, they may go for exits rather than try to win the round. No defuse kit, pistols, no helmet for Armanek. I think GODSENT will be safe in this regard. So GODSENT will start on the right foot. This is their choice, Nuke. They came in and they pillaged the villages of G2. They took their golds and burned their houses down. Now they'll look to secure their own house in Nuke, and with that take the series. The loser of the series will be facing Fnatic later on. Nobody wants to hold that. GODSENT 1 to the good. And 2 to the good in this game.
G2 versus Fnatic in a loser's decider, James. I can kind of get behind that one. We're still far from it, but I feel like GODSENT, they're wanting to put all of their eggs in this basket. It's nice to know that you've got a second chance, both of these teams, but it seems like GODSENT have turned up to play today. Individuals are looking good, and in terms of the kill count, it's just a little bit of a slow start again from G2. You know, they've been strapped for cash and outclassed in terms of the buys, of course, so we'll excuse it, but they better get the show going once the weapons are rolling. Frag grenade on Amanek, 2 sets of Kevlar. Very minimal situation here in GODSENT. They're not going to risk anything. I think this is one of those moments where they're just going to play nice and reserved, try to minimize any losses. Jax burned off of his position. It's the hut kill that comes in first, simultaneous with Stiko, of course, body bagging Kenny S. And Crystal, he wraps up from the heaven. Nexa's on full display. A is compromised and then some. But Amanek, with a little bit of a surprise in him, gets some damage at the least. But that's all they've done so far in this third round. Damage for G2. No kills and no stopping that bomb plant.
Good confidence in this round from GODSENT. You'll see a common anti-eco spot for a T side is basically the second wall in the entrance to lobby. So if you get pushed from ramp and or the A bomb site through the hut, you can fall back easily. You can take the 1v1s as necessary. Just brazenly. Okay, smoke's about to go. I'm just going to peek straight into A and get on with it. So great, full of confidence. Good to see. Again, the comms, they're coming into this one with great comms from the previous map. That much is clear with how they're moving around and playing off of each other. So they've got it all to do. G2 starting 0-3 on the CT side of Nuke. If they lose this buy round, I can't imagine where their cycle is.
I agree with you that 100%. Already being a map down and not it not being close either. Slow start for some. Let's see who steps up. Who gets aggressive? It's GODSENT. They've got Stiko. I imagine that's out from Squeaky Door. Yeah, he's inside of the smoke. Ooh, he gets softened up by the grenade, but there's his play. He bursts off of the flash. Can't quite manage the headshot versus Hunter. A bit of a stutter step here for GODSENT now. They're desperate to get onto the A site, but it's a total collapse. It's an utter shutdown of the execute. Stiko, he was primed in his position, but I feel like if he had just been able to take Hunter's head with the first or second bullet, then he can snap that crosshair over towards Amanek. Maybe they're able to unravel this defense, but it was a labored spray, and because of that, G2 took the chance to close it down, and now we have to watch in the 2v5 if GODSENT can get anything done here, but it's gone from bad to worse. They lose Farley over on ramp with bomb. Sure, Zen, he's got the element of surprise here, but if nobody steps into his crosshair, nothing's gonna happen.
Pretty tough spot for Zen. Necessary situation for G2, very necessary, and they will win the round with 0 casualties. They'll get at least 3 AK-47s out of it, so you couldn't really ask for more in that respect. That's exactly what G2 needed, let alone their wants. It's about their needs at present. They need to get a run of rounds here. They need some confidence. They need to take their opponent's pick after getting battered on train. That needs to be a distant memory. We'll see how round number 5 starts off. We've got the AKs and AWP out with GODSENT, so this is going to be a heavy hitting round. Just the 1 M4 across the 10 players.
Kalashnikovs. Heard around the world. Frag grenade goes into the Squeaky Door, softens up Stiko ever so slightly, but it's an additional smoke. This time a bit deeper, so either he's going to be isolated on one side of it, or he decides to fall back. Jack's missed grenade. Oh well. Wouldn't have been the end of the world. There's nobody there anyways. GODSENT, they want to sink their teeth into the outer yard, and they throw up that wall of smokes to keep the element of surprise, to keep G2 guessing.
Plenty of spam. Not reaching the inboxes, though, of GODSENT. That AWP from Kenny, rotating towards the ramp position. Maybe he'll go beyond it. Jack's in a very interesting position. I would imagine if a T swings from control, they'll be looking towards those entrances into ramp. Crystal has a very specific lineup, as we can see. He's lining something up with the wall for a cheeky peek here to see more of a CT who may be on the stairs. But again, this is one of those good angles. It's like when you're on the B bomb site of Cash and you're sitting on the front in the corner by the ramp. So when people look to pre-fire headshot and so on default, they're not quite going to be ready for you. Next has got a disgusting blind spot. I would never have expected that to work. And that's a 5 versus 3, just like that. Gimmicks coming out with great effect. Jack's going to raise his position to avoid getting headshot. And now we've got a 5 versus 2 where GODSENT are getting shot down on Nuke.
Oh, unfortunate for Crystal. He comes around that corner towards Decon, and he saw the barrel of Nexa's AK-47. It was just sticking around the side, but he didn't quite see it. It blended in with the background. And GODSENT happy to even have a bomb plant in this situation, but because of Nexa's 2K and Jax on the single frag, it should be an easy affair moving forward from here. Zen, similar to the situation in the last round, he's just going to have to line them up inside of Hut. He gets that first kill, tries to play for the repeat, but he's pinned in. Amanek's head gets popped, and we've got a player stick at the defuse. Hunter, he's on it, and the cover's given by Jax with just the USB.
He has to land that shot. That is so nervous. They could have lost everything there. The USP straight in the head. You've got to have your crosshair in the perfect position, so as soon as you register the player in front of you, he's in your crosshair when you click. That is terrifying, but it works out for G2. GODSENT looking dangerous even in the difficult positions, but that was some very novel play. And again, it's a good thing for GODSENT that kind of thing happens in the early game, because if this was round 26 or round 25 rather than round 5, that kind of thing could cost you an entire map. So scary stuff, but better it happens early than late. Let's see what GODSENT have in mind for round number 6. There are some difficulties. We see some Galils rather than AKs. And a Desert Eagle for Farley. They've prioritized utility to some respects in order to take position, and that is necessary on Nuke, whether you're rushing the A-bomb site or going on the outside.
Nexa drops down the vents already here in response to that outer utility. The options were open for GODSENT, and this round it's a slight variation. They're not playing behind the smokes to go for cross. Kenny S. Oh, baby! Oh, gets them all. One after another. Kenny S and the magic stick connects. Stiko, he may have a little bit of footing over towards the ramp room, but he's getting hard flanked, and that is all Kenny all day.
Kenny confirmed robot. That first shot through the box looked dead on Farley's head as well. That was, he was really in seek and destroy mode. It was like Terminator on fast forward, sweeping left and right to find a target on that second kill. Fantastic stuff. Still able to pull out these highlights, and there'll be many more years of that, that's for sure. Well, we're 3-3. GODSENT now, it's their turn to feel the hardship on a difficult T side. Just as Train is difficult, so is Nuke. Good start, but it's about how you finish. They have no grenades at this point in the round. I'm not sure if they had any to begin with. 2 Deagles and a P250. They have not invested much into this, and sometimes you've got to focus on the future. But what's great about this for G2, unless there is horrible banana slip-up, then this is a money-making round. This is a round for them to stabilize their economy and build for the future, to invest in all that.
Schools.
ISO account round.
Yeah. Libraries and green energy, James.
Yeah.
Sustainability. Because right now, they're working with little. Still, smoke in their faces, frag grenade on the feet of Madden. So it's not going to get any easier as we move forward here. Crystal does have an interesting position in that he's compromised Mini, but Hunter, he just slips back behind the vent. So this is kind of it's a welcoming call. They've left the door open, and they've rung the dinner bell.
Can we just appreciate how delicious that smoke was in the door? That very specific lineup. So all the smoke is on the inside, and they can't do anything.
They're stuck. Spinning their tires here inside of lobby. It's going to happen, and it's going to probably happen in the last few seconds so that the CTs are still spread out across the map, but you can see Kenny as he's trying to come rotate back towards Hell. It's going to be a fast assistance if needed. 15 seconds, and here we go. Pistols start pushing out from the squeaky door. It's a bloodbath. Hunter, 4 frags, 3 headshots, one of which a wall bang. He just lines him up, knocks him down like a bunch of bowling pins.
Looks like they were spinning the tires of a tricycle, Scrawny, and doesn't seem they were ever going to go far in that particular round with the tools that they had. But now they're out with the big guns once again. Bomb plant would have been nice, but you're not always going to get there. So the AKs are out once again with the AWP. Plenty of utility. Farley's got a smoke and not much else, but that doesn't matter. He's got AWP. You want him on the scope, not with a grenade in his hand in most cases. 2 AKs still out for the G2 squad. We got Stiko with early grenades towards the the door into the A-bomb site. Jax will slow things down towards the ramp. Smoke up in a forward position as GODSENT deploy some smokes of their own outside.
Kenny S throws the molly in response. Doesn't see anything just yet. Jax, ooh, dangerous game. Stiko just crossed his line of sight, and ooh, look at that damage, Hunter. Oh, he lines it all up. Again, just putting the damage into the majority of GODSENT. He was underneath the silo. They had no idea, like a landmine. He tries to tear their limbs off. And they get aggressive inside of the lobby as well, trying to figure out where that late lurk is for GODSENT. So now the only thing GODSENT have is the little bit of outer control that they took, but it came at a cost. The damage still favors that of GODSENT, despite this being 3v3.
Oh no. And he gave the sound cue away, and it's going to cost him everything. He was trying to jump up onto the rail, and that conceded his position. That really concedes a lot for G2. A 3 versus 2 for GODSENT with 40 seconds on the clock. And G2 are the ones lacking in information, but maybe GODSENT feeling the time pressure will start to make inroads towards that B bomb site. So now G2 have almost all the information. You can see how Zen doesn't choose to fight to the death there. He sees a player, but he's got bigger priorities. He's got bigger fish to fry. Bomb planted on the coolant in the B bomb site. And such a horrible position. They line up, but only one goes down. Now Jax is going to walk into almost a guaranteed crossfire. They know exactly where he is. The smoke is up, creeping around it. He might actually get something out of this because Crystal's hiding on the ramp. Oh, he may have missed everything here. Jax focusing on Crystal, allowing Zen to just creep out for free. Now, that round could have gone a very different way. You could argue that it just came down to that jump.
Yeah, absolutely could. I mean, Jax, even versus Crystal, he had what? 20 HP, sub 20 HP left over. If that's an instantaneous head cracker, then maybe he just flicks back onto the back of the bomb site itself. So a nice little effort there by Jax, but not quite enough. GODSENT have managed. It took 4 rounds in a row for G2 before the T's breakthrough. But of course, there's still so much money on at least Hunter, $7,000. He's not going to spread the wealth whatsoever. It's all his. Keep an eye on Jax, though. He's going to try to play that close smoke on ramp room, where GODSENT are starting to collect themselves. Anticipating some sort of a hut peek, maybe. Farley has his scope on it. Would make sense. When G2 were pressured in the last round's 4v4 type situation, that's exactly what they did. They took that lobby control. They came and they found Stiko. So they tried to keep them honest at the start, but it looks like they need to make moves. There's just a minute left over, and it seems like they'll throw that utility outside to once again pressure Outer.
G2 may have a good idea about this, however, because they've pushed through towards that radio room and may left Kenny S in position as Jax goes to maybe rotate outside. Jax again, he was alone towards B, and in the meantime, Next is going to slow things down on the outside. He's eventually going to get traded through the smoke as GODSENT try to make their way towards the B bomb site, but again, Jax already in position, and he's going to take an aggressive angle on this. Down by the double doors. Now, GODSENT would have heard that glass smash, so it looks like they realized their position's been compromised. And they've responded instantly. Look at that spray from Stiko, down to 10 HP. Armanet caught out of position just about. Maybe wanted to get a little deeper there. Now Kenny is on the outside. Look how fast he is. That was ridiculous. 3 on 3, there's 20 seconds left.
Hunter, he's going to come out from the vent, doesn't see anybody on the front of the bomb site, still able to cut down Madden, and Zen follows suit. So it's Stiko, who cracked open Mini once a time ago. Oh no! He just goes ahead and drops the shot, but it's minimal HP. There was 20 health left on all 3 of the CTs. He gets that second, but Hunter, he's got priorities. He sticks the bomb for G2 to take their 5th, a solo survivor. And my goodness, Kenny S, is there anybody who does it better when it comes to flicks like that?
Man, the proactive plays of G2 were great in that round. And I think Kenny was initially moving into position just to, I mean, they had so many different things they could have done, like a bait setup where the off angle is held by his teammate as he goes for an aggressive angle, then falls back maybe down the ramp or something with the AWP. But then they just continue on as GODSENT fall back to focus on the outside. So timing was pretty good. Now you got some very fast aggression from GODSENT towards the A bomb site, sprays and HE grenades. Speaking of which, there goes one through hut. I think it was as much as I was expecting though. Sometimes it'd be like that, although they have been improved over time by the developers. Now after that initial aggression, things start to slow down. Armanet will be boosted quietly onto the high ground as we have a boost. I was wondering if this would come into play actually towards the ramp as well. So a bait and switch setup, Nexa falls off. But Stiko doesn't bite just yet.
No, doesn't want to fully extend on this one. Don't blame him. Finally, a round where it seems like Outer could be contested a little bit better. We've had that consistency in the CTs being at the base of Silo, trying to cheeky play around the side of smokes. And now, it's all inside. Must be a rainy day. And we've got video games. Yes, trying to watch those smokes, trying to catch just a smidgen of Crystal's evidence, but makes sure to slip by unnoticed. And he is only all alone, of course. It's over towards the ramp room. The hit decides to come in. Kenny S, he's got that first one, and now it's Jax with a headshot off of the boost. It works well. And because of the Molotovs, nobody else can come join them. So a 3 versus 5 is what GODSENT are sent reeling back into. How do they solve this issue?
just like the T pistol on trainer. Feeling that time pressure once again, GODSENT. We move to the 10-second mark as they start to charge in and do what they can, but will they be successful? Doesn't look like it. The bombs on the floor, and so are all the players. Nexa with a 3K. And that will put a stop to that. 3 players survive for G2. Generally speaking, when you don't have all the money in the world, that's like the minimum you would want to survive with. Otherwise, things get very difficult indeed. So G2 will be able to spread the wealth. They'll take 2 AK-47s into this round, as well as GODSENT have gone for what I presume to be a tactical timeout. Zen with 10 kills on the board, as has Hunter. Nexa leading the leaderboard with 12 at present. Now, the money is difficult for GODSENT at this point. 3,000 to 3,500 per person. They're at maximum loss bonus, as they have lost most of the recent rounds. They've won 1 round from 6, in fact. So they'll be able to invest something into this round. Maybe it's a fast play into the A-bomb site, for example.
Taking a chance to appreciate the stats in the server at the moment. What do we got? Hunter Nexa 2.0 KD. Utility damage is just dangerously low, I would argue, for just both sides of this. Enemies flashed. A total of 7 for G2. 21 for that of GODSENT. Obviously, the T side flashing those defensive players and getting them off of their positions, but it's a straight-up sprint. It's a marathon down to the B bomb site, and they are not reserving anything. They're not saving up any gas. They are just going all in as fast as they possibly can, and it works for the opening kill at the least. Crystal on the kill feed first and foremost. Madden's also got himself a second. Crystal onto the AK even creates the man advantage. Now, they were just playing for a bomb plant. Everything else, this is just icing on the cake, but Madden, oh, he almost gets into cover. It's a clean sweep back between Amanek and Hunter. Not even a tidbit of damage done once that 2v3 comes in.
That was DDK and an elevator levels of awkward on the B bomb site. Really rough situation. Some sloppy sprays with the AK-47. That one almost slipped away from them, and the low health play with the AWP tried to get back into control. Close, but not quite. That could have been a hell of a lot worse for G2. Again, they survive with enough players to weather the storm. Round number 12 as they look to finish off with a good CT side on Nuke. Again, they are a map down, having lost their own map pick. Now, the map is in the hands of GODSENT, but the rounds are in the hands of G2.
Yeah, most certainly. And we are in that situation where, because of the kills, because GODSENT have kept some of these rounds so close, it's only going to take one to start putting the economy of G2 in question. And, you know, we cannot forget that at the end of G2's T side on Train, we saw them double their round count with the final 2 rounds of the half. So you cannot let off in terms of the pressure here for G2. You've got GODSENT where you want them. Don't let them wiggle out of your chokehold. Nexa, he's got himself a kill and a half. Doubles down onto Zen, switches over to the AK. Crystal's called into action, and it's G2 everywhere on that kill feed. Stiko, he's gonna get flanked. Hunter's not gonna waste any time. He's not playing games today. There is no time for knives. It's only time for round wins, and G2 take another 8-4.
That round felt like Wingman with a handicap. That was, I thought that was going to be super awkward for G2 because they had a bait set up and they started to move as the T's peaked, but they won every duel. So, you know, when it happens, nothing to complain about, really. They are ready for this one. Maybe the first map was a warm-up. Maybe they wanted to do it the hard way. Not too shabby, though, from the side of GODSENT. It has to be said. I'm focusing on G2 because they're a map down, but GODSENT have got 4 rounds from their T side so far, and that could already be enough. Again, they were very strong on Train. And there are still a few more rounds for them to try and claw back. This one doesn't look likely with an AWP surrounded by pistols. But it is doable. We've seen such rounds won by the classic versus pro squad before. Things ideally miss. Pasha with the AWP and everybody else with pistols. Maybe GODSENT can channel some of that magic in this round.
We got a little bit of a stalemate over in the ramp room. Stiko, he's hiding inside of the smoke, and he's already worked past what was the Molotov. But Nexa, he's going to peek right into it. And now Stiko, he loses the element of surprise. Jax right next to him, goes for the peek, takes the headshot. It's Farley to claw this one back, at least by 1 kill. Remember, that single op, right? If anybody's going to do it, it's supposed to be Farley. But he's lost another teammate, and he's not able to instantaneously trade like he did last time. Hunter just jump spotting the base of the A site, and welcoming them in. Because once they're no longer in the cover of Mini, once they have to move those feet forward, they're in no man's land, and it's all too easy. Kenny predicts the peak. Amanek cleans up in lobby. A 9th round for G2.
Keep them starved of oxygen. That has to be the plan for G2. No space to move. Nothing for free, apart from maybe Secret. There are tougher holds beyond that position, as we saw in the round prior, as GODSENT came down the stairs. I wonder how nervous they will be if they approach that again. You almost have to, I feel like, in many rounds on Nuke, just to spread the CTs out as much as you can to thin the defenses. So wherever you choose to breach, it'll be weaker than it otherwise might be. Grenades from GODSENT on the outside. You can see that G2 have held on to most of their utilities so far, but Stico's crept through the smoke, but Jax was ready. His AK was out already, so Stico, unfortunately for him, not fast enough.
Couple of rounds in a row now, Jax bests Stico, whether it's with him on a pistol or now with the full-fledged guns. Zen lining up some smokes for outer, so it seems like yet again GODSENT are going to try to move towards Secret. We saw what Nexa was able to do, but this time he's not at the base of those Secret stairs. James, he's tucked inside of Garage.
And he will have a lot of sound cues. He'll hear that somebody got tagged as well, for what it's worth. Maybe a grenade will come into play later on, but I don't know if you can identify if there are 3 players or 4 players based on the sound cues, but either way, they'll almost all get executed. The bomb's been spotted. The objective is towards B, but there are still options, and Farley may be considering them, or just clearing out the vents. Now, if he goes towards the ladder, he could be in trouble, because there was a crosshair aiming straight down that vent. Kenya's creeping, taking control of control. 35 seconds on the clock. GODSENT do not have many options. There aren't many pieces on their chessboard. And that's one more that's been taken by the other side. And now it's a checkmate for that round as we move into the last round of the first half. A great score for G2. A reasonable score for GODSENT as well. So I'm not quite sure what to make of this until we see the form of the latter in the second half.
Yeah. I mean, there is an asterisk next to it in that, you know, we've had very minimal bomb plants even for GODSENT. And 75% of these rounds they have, of course, straight off pistol and conversion when they had the economic advantage. So, and even as we get further and further into this game, the round wins are more and more convincing from G2. So they've come alive. They're feeling the vibes. They realize they're in the server. It's no longer train. Nuke's a whole different game. G2 look to gain at least one more round here. An 11th would look spectacular. Little deep smoke over towards Squeaky. GODSENT trying to flex some utility through the windows of the A site. And that's going to bode well. Kind of disrupts Amanek's position ever so slightly. Causes him to eat the flash. But nobody's been able to peel him off the site itself. In fact, it is a flurry of frags to the favor of G2 Esports. Single man advantage with still Farley and Zen knocking on the door of the A site. But the bomb gets dropped. Kenny Wes.
Oh my days. It's too early for this. This is pre-watershed. You can't be doing this, Kenny. Oh man. I think there was a lot of hesitation in that push from GODSENT. They had 1T in main and 1T who was through the door. Now, they could perhaps peek together to the site. We could see that Stico had a grenade in his hand and started showing to the site, with no one seemingly taking care of the heaven position. So that push felt a bit stunted for me from GODSENT, maybe a little too following the manual there, which allowed G2 to exploit them and get a solid 11 rounds on the board. And we can see that Kenny is in fine form, and moving into the T side, he will need to be. Now they have a similar opportunity to keep their opponent broke. They're going on to the weaker side, G2, but if they can keep the CTs off their full buys most of the time, then obviously they'll be in a position to win for sure. Now, I don't expect Nightmare Pistol, second pistol, as we saw on the previous map. That was from the GODSENT side, but it's the G2 team who are in the driving seat now. We'll soon see what they have to offer.
I feel like it's the old classic situation here where if G2 can turn around and convert off a pistol similarly to GODSENT, then they're just going to be able to trip over the finish line. The advantage of a strong CT start is that you can almost taste victory as they head into this second pistol. Who do we look to when it comes to pistol rounds for these teams, James? Anybody jump off the sheet for you?
I'm not sure. I think it partly depends on the map, because if you look at Navi a few months ago, for example, on a T side, let's say Mirage, Simple would always have the P250, something that everybody's tired of me talking about. The P250 in a pistol round has longer one-shot range than the USP does. And the Glock has about half that of the USP. So it's important, if you're taking a range duel, to kind of have those upgrades. So I love that they turn him into like some kind of Megatron cannon on their pistol rounds, although I think it's fallen out of favor a little bit recently. But I would look to see something like that from the T side. But again, it depends on the strat that you have. If they're going for a fast play into a bomb site, or they're playing close ranges, then the additional bullets of the Glock, for example, could be more important. Now we see that Nexus picked up a P250, so we shall see. I find comfort in a P250 regardless, if it's like
Agreed.
close range or otherwise. It's probably my favorite weapon. I generally prefer it as a sidearm with an AWP, depending on what I'm doing over like a Deagle or something. So on a T side, I'll generally look for people with the P250, but again, it's also strat dependent as well, which is also map dependent as well, because if you've got an open map, like if you make it to Dust 2, for example, then the P250 may be of more of interest, of course, unless you're outside or peeking towards ramp. If you're going towards A, for example, then that's less of an issue, and it's more about team play than an individual. So there's a lot of variables. So I think we're on a journey of discovery here.
Listen, James, I consider you quite the gentleman, and I want to know, what's the procedure here? Does Nexa have an obligation to drop the P250 to one of the players who at least has Kevlar, so you get that Megatron type situation? Or since he bought it, does he get to keep it?
I think there's definitely an argument for both sides. If you're fighting inside, I think it would be nice to be tooled up with some Kevlar. So it just depends on the situation. There's not necessarily one right answer.
Oh, that's a great response. Very level-headed man.
Yeah, I should move to Canada.
Yeah. We welcome you with open arms.
The boot.
There, you're halfway there. Stiko, he's going to try to keep eyes on this narrow angle. Look at it, tap in with that USP, and look, G2, they don't want any of that. No. They will head elsewhere. They're going to try to sink their teeth and claws deep into this A bomb site, and with the assistance of Aminex Flashbang, Jax comes swinging wide. He's going to get that bomb plant on the front side of site, or is he? Farley wastes no time coming hot on that flank, and we've got a man advantage, sure, for G2. A bomb site, sure, for G2, but a chance for GODSENT.
He must have been like 0.1 seconds away from planting that bomb. About to lick his ice cream and just landed on the floor. Stiko and Farley doing what they can. Farley's got the 1v1. He will deliver. Quick reload from him. And now he's a presence that they're aware of. And his teammate needs to try and play off of that. Try and creep. Try and catch somebody repositioning as Farley continues to threaten. Nexa is between a rock and a hard place. Lands a second kill with the P250 rather. Now down to the 1v1. Stiko needs a headshot and he needs it fast. Hunter at great advantage. He needs to change his level with the nature of the floor in that position, but it won't matter too much. Will tag Stiko just enough to take the pistol. So G2, of course, now in a very strong position with the score at 12-4.
I love that play from Nexa. When the door is open outwards as a T, you just stand behind it, not tucked into the corner by vents, of course, and you see what happens. Farley, he walks out. Even if he checks to the right, he's got to go all the way around the doorway. He's got to look everywhere there. Nexa essentially playing a game of hide and seek. And he makes Farley look like a bit of a toddler in that 16th round. So they close it, but you still got to give props to Farley, man. Wasted no time getting into that, throwing himself into a pressured situation and stopping the bomb. They had the time to play after.
Speaking of pressured situations, we can see the utility on GODSENT. It's a little Inferno-esque, where you're waiting for the G2 squad to take a slow round and then put them in really awkward situations afterwards. We can see that's a really nice opening headshot from Farley. He's still outside. Oh, they're exposed now. Front page National Enquirer. This is a problem for G2. Only 2 remaining. There's a minute 20 on the clock. They've lost almost everything, and it's just going from bad to worse. GODSENT could actually survive with everyone alive here. What a start to a force buy round from them. 4 players alive. How much bounty will they get from this? There are rifles to be collected. What can we even say about that round?
I'm not sure. That the scout is nuts. That force buys are a dangerous game, more so than ever. And that Farley, despite it being a pistol and a 2vx situation, despite it being a force buy against him, he is finding impact in nearly every single round. So props to that one for GODSENT. Kind of shakes things up a little, huh? G2, they won that. Winning that pistol made us think that this one was over and that our decider map may be coming up way too quick. Now we've got to hold. We've got to put a pause on that narrative and see whether G2 can do what was done to them. They as well coming into the force buy. Now it's not on par with, say, the Scouts, but they're just going to take this gunfight inner, armored up on the upgraded pistols. These Tech 9s, oh baby, they are beasts at times.
Speaking of narrative, I was trying to write a novel and GODSENT just ripping pages out, making it a short story in that round. Absolutely outrageous behavior. And again, they just feel like on their CT sides, they're on form. The T-sided Nuke is very, very difficult. And that score might not be the cavity that it looks like on this particular map, especially with a turnaround like that from GODSENT, where G2 are fighting with pots and pans in this round. Exchange of utility from both squads. GODSENT looking to thwart the timing of G2, and again the moving accuracy of those Tech 9s. Maybe I feel like the weapon is still somewhat unexplored in its most recent iteration, but maybe G2 will take us on a journey in round number 18.
Yeah, I mirror that sentiment. You know, we all became very accustomed to the Tech 9s, and now let's see. As they go over towards the ramp room, Stiko's gonna just post up railgun in terms of the M4. Double headshot. It is only Jax left over here. He is compromised from both sides, doesn't quite know where to go, and he will walk into Stiko. 3 kills on the ramp room versus those Tech 9s, and they're going to rob them. We've got 2 Tech 9s picked up here by GODSENT. Deagles as well behind the AKs and Galil. They are basically living off G2's bank accounts. The leeches, James.
Honestly, like, people should watch Stiko demos, man. I can't say watch Zipex anymore because he's on a break, but definitely Stiko, just like, he's got 4 HP, but he doesn't want to compromise his position and like leave his teammate alone, so he just holds an off angle. Allows G2 to just straight into it and finish off the job. You know, he's got a lot to lose in that situation, but he's able to just hold on and play it smartly as possible, limit the variance without taking too much risk. Really smart stuff. A player who has never really got as much credit as he deserves. And you can see that in some of the interviews he's had and so on.
Ooh.
And got
a little labored, but we get there. Zen cuts him down. And speaking of Stiko, you know, maybe not getting as much merit as he deserves, I think that especially if you only know Stiko from the previous lineups he's been a part of, you know, this Stiko plays differently than the one that we had on Hellraisers, that we had on Mousesports. And I think that's really exciting. You know, it's not all the time. You know, he was always considered one of those support players. And now he's kind of reinvented himself as a bit of a star. It's very exciting to see that trajectory in terms of a player's style. But here we are back with the rifles versus pistols, and as you would expect, the Galil just chewing through the first 2 Ts. Stiko peeking back out, simultaneous final frags. It's only a 5-round buffer that G2 have to work with, but to be fair, of course, we are looking at the anti-ecos and the anti-force for 2 rounds in a row. Now it's back on the Kalashnikovs, back in with the guns. G2 seeking revenge for that 17th round force buy upset.
It really is only as well when you've got a strong team on the CT side of Nuke. And in terms of form, never mind the rankings, in terms of form, GODSENT have been a very strong team in this series so far. Definitely making a statement on Train. They move to Nuke now, but Farley's very fast on the outside to just continue as they mean to go on for GODSENT. An early 5 versus 4. Plenty of grenades outside, and they have a good idea, GODSENT, that there's not much going on towards the outside now. Now, what will Stiko choose to do? He sees many footsteps towards him in that ramp position. He'll have to concede that. But we could have 3 players on this bomb site very quickly indeed. Farley's got some angles. He can cover his teammate for a second and start to rack up some more kills. Maiden taking control of control. In the meantime, it just goes from bad to worse for G2. What can they do versus the CT sides of GODSENT? It's David and Goliath.
Yeah, it feels that way. Very rapid rotation there from GODSENT. And I think we contrast this to the previous round where Stiko, you know, 4 HP, still holding ramp, feeling bold in holding the ground there. But this time he just flees. He runs down the ramp because he dropped his shots. He wasn't able to nail the first few bullets. And luckily, he had those two teammates on a fast rotation. We had Farley come back from the secret stairs, where, of course, he started the round. First kill was his. And then control room. That Galil just posts up. I mean, you can see the thought process for G2. They think, well, if the sniper's covering the double control doors, then we can't attack this from that left side ramp entrance. You've got to go closer to control. They thought that would be their chance to overwhelm, to envelop the B site control. And they couldn't have been further from the truth. Hunter, he's chasing down these two CTs with 15 seconds left, and Farley just posts the op up. He's got 3 kills in the 20th, and that bodes very well for GODSENT because they send G2 back into the economic dumps.
Well then.
I smell a comeback.
If you ignore the pistol rounds, which you should, G2 haven't won any rounds in this half. The pistol round has an asterisk.
Bombs.
Yeah, they haven't won any rounds. They haven't planted any bombs. They haven't done anything of significance after the pistol round. They have their maximum loss bonus, and that's about it. They now have no grenades. They got a Tech 9s, again a rough situation, but those have got some serious armor penetration, so they've got a numbers game as well. The Swarm, they're playing it like the Zerg army as they move towards that ramp position. But GODSENT will choose their battlegrounds. Can't plant a bomb on ramp. They'll move on.
Yep, Stico, confident. Oh, cool and collected. 1, 2, 3. Add him up. GODSENT thanking him for the solid first bit of a hold here. Really enables the easy retake, not even with the bomb not planted. So again, another round here where G2, they get a little bit of ramp footing, which has been a consistency. You know, Stico has held the line. He's also offered it up. And this time, it's not like he gets flustered at the base of ramp and has to play close proximity to those pistols. He's got the cover. He's got himself in the deciding factor there. Takes those peaks beautifully. 1, 2, 3. Easy peasy. Now a 3-round difference. Slowly but surely, we are watching GODSENT catch up on this CT side.
Doesn't even feel like slowly at this point, to be honest.
Agreed.
Stico solid as a $2 stake on the B bomb site. And again, it just feels so standard, all these rounds for GODSENT. I'm not sure what else to say. Again, we saw the fast play outside from G2. There's only one player there taken out before the smokes even plumed. And they're just like, GODSENT are making the right plays, getting the information, they're responding to that information, they're getting into position with numbers, and they're just winning duels as well. So there's been attack pause from G2, but what is the way in to the fortress of GODSENT? They're running out of rounds to find out. Their lead is dwindling.
Maybe? No, I thought maybe Nexa was going to swing that door wide. Frustrations boiling over perhaps for G2, but no. They keep it cool and calm and collected.
Moments of peace. So G2 have changed their pace. We've seen them attempt really fast rounds in terms of their utility outside. This one, their smokes land at the minute 15 mark. And there's a response from GODSENT, who they've got a lot of junk to throw at their opponent. The CT side still holding on to 3 smokes as we reach the minute mark. So they're really looking to ruin the timing of the opponent. A very forward smoke on the ramp will allow only one player really to need to be there in Stico. It allows GODSENT to hold the numbers, to have a stronghold in other areas. Even now, we've still got Maiden with one more smoke grenade that could be deployed. Now we've got the XP coming in at 40 seconds. Bristol's response is outstanding. The bomb's been lost. Why they try to take position elsewhere? The bomb's been shot down. It affected it finally, but this could still turn around.
Absolutely. 3 Ts trying to get onto this bomb site. Farley, he's behind it. They don't clear the back of the bomb site, and Farley omnipresent. Whether it's over towards the secret stairs, getting those opening picks, shutting down the plays. This time, he's just tucked. He's tucked into bed, and he gets up for that midnight snack. Gobbles up the bomb carrier. Ridiculous timing in heaven. Stico just not even watching the ladder as Kenny S slips upwards. He shoots the gun down. Nexa desperately trying to find these kills here. He's in the crossfire. And while he takes down the one, it's Stico to close the deal. Can't get that op back, but so be it. GODSENT trailing by only 2 And again, it's G2 in a desperate situation. They don't have money on everyone. James, they didn't clear the bomb site. And Farley, he's just having fun with them at this point.
Some of these bomb plant kills have been like the biggest tease. You're just so close to finishing it off just to get denied. I can't believe the timing of Kenny and Stiko on ladder. That is the unreal. It's like in Mirage where two people walk backwards past each other in Palace, but even worse, honestly, just like shaving past each other's by a hair. Unbelievable. But again, like G2 are having a difficult time of getting rid of GODSENT's utility early in the round. Like again, it was around a minute 15, a minute 10, GODSENT with 3 smoke grenades. Again, just they're able to get a deep smoke grenade on ramp, which means they only need 1 player to be ramp, because you're not going to be going through that smoke. It's absolutely suicide to do so. They're able to reinforce the places where G2 are most likely to push. And again, that play around the bomb site, absolutely brutal. This round is, they got the 4 deagles for the meat shots from the likes of G2. Still 1 smoke grenade left in a minute. It's a nice headshot onto Farley. And they've got time to try and retrieve that weapon if they want to.
Yeah, absolutely. Madden could try to contest it now that he's bested Jax. But he loses a bit of health here, so I don't think it'd be a good idea for him to go prying outdoors at the moment. Kenny S, the 1 deeg into the upgrade. Unfortunately for G2, they just lost their bomb carrier inside Mini on his own. Hunter, well, he's trying to keep eyes around Hell here as Nexa looks to join them. At least G2 have moved all 3 of their remaining pieces into the same position. Miss the bomb. That could be the most crucial component of all of this. Stiko, if you re-peek that, Kenny S is going to op you. And Crystal, well, he's cut off Nexa from the heaven. Oh no, Kenny, he drops his shot and he's lost both his teammates. He's panicking.
Oh.
And Stiko through the side of smoke. That was G2 with a chance, James. That was a bit of an opening, an unexpected outcome because of Kenny's deagle shot. And oh lord, Stiko coming out of secret to just shut it all down.
Yeah, that was really awkward for Kenny as well, because there is a small argument, depending on what's happening, to actually consider saving. I think he would have been $1,000 better off than dying there, because he's going to have a lot of money gone once he buys an AWP and full armor. So obviously they desperately need to actually just break the money of GODSENT though, so probably worth going through until all of his teammates have gone there, but then he's just exposed on the outside. And again, if you ignore the pistol, which you should, G2 have nil points from this half. They've got nothing to show for it. Every round has gone the way of GODSENT, and in most rounds they've survived with at least 4 players. There's like one where they survived with one with 3, but all the other ones they've survived with 4 or 5 players. So again, that's just giving you an indication of the lack of success we're seeing here from G2, whose lead now has been reduced to 1. All that hard work in the first half just means survival at present in the second.
Unbelievable scenes. And I mean, if you really need even any further evidence that these rounds haven't even been close, other than the fact that for the vast majority it's been 4 or 5 survivors, there has still been 0 bomb plants in the last 7 rounds. So they've come incredibly close, like half-second timings. But that just goes to show how on top of it GODSENT are. Just swooping in at the worst possible moment over and over. I mean, worst possible moment for G2, of course. GODSENT having a field day. But they can't be caught slipping. They can't be caught sleeping. We saw them afford G2 a couple of rounds towards the end of the first T-half on Train. Let that be a stark reminder that even with your foot where it needs to be, you can't let off the squeeze. Nexa, he's going to get a back turn to him. Madden, first casualty of the round. A man advantage for G2, and I think they want to feel out the heaven-hell play again, because they did get footing here with Kenny S having got that deagle kill last round. They almost squeezed into A, but oh no, Kenny, he dies on Mini first, so it's right back to the even keel.
You can see the juices flowing in the minds of GODSENT, starting to think about that heaven position. Nexus creeping though. Has Crystal seen something? Starts to make a play, I think, as the A bomb site gets compromised. We might finally see a round here for G2. Stiko's got 5,700 in the bank. The only person who's low on money is Farley, so it could be a consideration to go for it and try and do as much damage as possible, keep them as poor as possible. Now, will he play his entire card here? Oh, I'll go for a peek. Looks towards the CT vent, gets taken out from an awkward angle, and G2 get more or less their first round, their first buy round of the half. And again, they're only 3 rounds away. So as late as it's come, this is still very winnable for them if the tide will change.
Just got to follow through with it. I wouldn't be shocked if we see them try to pressure hell and heaven again from outside. That's where the eco worked, and that's where they finally were able to break through this stronghold of a CT side from GODSENT. So I don't think it's a coincidence that they went right back to what worked with pistols when they finally had a chance to wield some guns. Time will tell. We shall see. You don't want to get stagnant and predictable. Stiko, he's going to be pressuring this ramp room smoke, and well, we do have a lot of presence here inside of lobby for G2. Ooh, he heard something. Zen definitely just got the audible of somebody outside of Silo. So they know that somebody's creeping all the closer. Keep your eyes on Farley. He's going to keep them back from Red Box. This is a very big commitment in his position. Not always easy to just jump right back down secret stairs, but they could even circumvent him.
Oh, the molly will force him away. If he had a smoke, he could potentially give himself a one-way over it, but could risk being sprayed as well, so he'll just reposition down the stairs now. Looks like he's going to stay around those stairs while there's more offerings towards the A-bomb site. The flashbangs will contain all, but it will be G2 getting an advantage. Maiden will take one up, but where does he go now? Doesn't know what is beyond this smoke grenade. We've got some wallbangs being attempted by Kenny. One! No, he pulls his gun out just the wrong time. Oh dear, this could be disaster for G2. Jax has it all to do now, and it's going to be simple for Stiko to finish up. Kenny's going to be absolutely frustrated. I'll be surprised if that's not a desk punch in that round.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Feels like it. And I mean, somebody else who's got to be upset has to be Zen. We had a perfect flashbang inside of Mini in the sense that it blinded everyone. But when the CTs and Ts regained vision, Zen, he had the advantage over Nexa for just a moment. Nexa, however, connects the kill. A little bit more accurate in his spray despite him shooting second. And then from that, Nexa gets the second kill as well on the player in the bomb site. So Nexa, he did his job and then some. But it just wasn't enough. G2, a single round. Immediately right back, we've got GODSENT with an answer. 3 survivors as well, so it's an easy rebuy. The economy, not too in question. Full round loss bonus for G2, of course. It's the Counter-Strike equivalent of a participation trophy.
Kenny S on road, on the outside. Some mollies to fort position. But Sin will have to concede his, and he will rotate elsewhere. There's a tag, but no kill onto Hunter, who continues to creep towards that glass. Jack's sword. He's going for the dry peaks on the outside, but Zen's playing the off angle. Oh, he's going to get 2! No, he's not! Just a 1-for-1, but he sees at least 2 on a death cap. Now he's got Maiden. I think he peaked a little too late there, just emerging at the wrong timing, and this could prove to be a very expensive round for GODSENT. They can't really afford to lose this one. This could be the round that breaks them.
Could absolutely be. Will it be B? They're going to decide to run, but there's a player in Squeaky. There's a player in Squeaky. Crystal, he calls out the rotate, but Kenny with a saving shot again. You said he had to be pissed after that last round. Well, the desk smash fired this man up. It is all on Stiko. Not the first time we've seen him in a 1v3 attempt on the A site, but last time he was predicted in coming out from heaven and shut down before he could get anything rolling. With Hunter being on such minimal health, there is a chance here for Stiko. Double flashbang. Still has the element of surprise. But does he take this risk? There are players on GODSENT who are compromised economically. Less than 2K on both Stiko and Crystal. And it doesn't look like he plays for this. No, sir. He may try to cut off some exits. And, well, don't lose your own life here, Stiko. That AK is so valuable. They'll all disengage from the situation. And G2, they'll take that 14th. So a 2-round lead and 2 more to go.
That is a really terrible spot for GODSENT. We've seen many times before a team that finishes the first half with a great lead. They didn't really win a lot of rounds for a time. Then when the pressure's on, when their backs are to the wall, they start to go over the edge. It's a tough spot for Stiko. 1 versus 3 on Nuke. Really tough to try and win that. But then I was going to say, what will he be able to do with it in the next round? But it's a pretty reasonable buy, actually, for GODSENT. Had more money than I thought. You can see the auto shotgun for Maiden, but well, it was still G2 taking the timeouts here. to discuss things, maybe trying to figure out what they can expect of their opponent in the next round. Farley will be naked with the AWP, no Kevlar to be seen from him, but Nuke's one of the better maps for that. He'll be far away from the grenades most of the time unless he goes towards Secret. So that won't be too much of an issue, but the tagging will be really brutal if he does peek outside heaven, for example. So he's got to be on point. And speaking of on point, Kenny feels like he's playing at his maximum with some of these flicks that we're seeing from him.
Agreed. Big time. He's saved them more than once. More than once just in that last round, damn it. Calling out the counter ramp hopper. Let's see what he does this time. Farley's probably looking for him. Farley keeping... Oh, look, position from Farley. I like this. He's on top of the little garage roof. Not a common angle, and Kenny S, he's going to jump right into the scope. Unbeknownst to Kenny S, Farley was waiting for it. A 5 versus 4 in the most crucial of rounds for GODSENT.
That is such an enormous gamble. He is so exposed out there. But it pays off. And you've got to be daring. Who dares wins and all that. That was... Again, that peak's not what it used to be, man. But very hairy situation from him. Just committed to it. Believes in it. And he's got the 5 versus 4 now. Does this start the advance of G2? They have a minute on the clock. But they're just holding position at present. They're just holding. But it's their clock which is going down. GODSENT have their angles. And they wait. They've got their grenades as well, as we mentioned before. G2 haven't always exhausted the utility of GODSENT. There'll be some initial grenades in towards the A bomb site, which might contribute to that or pull people out of position. You can see Zen's about to expose his position, but he might get a kill out of it as well, or at least hold them and slow G2 down even more. Farley with a cheeky peek into Hut. Bear in mind, this guy's got no Kevlar. He's made the most aggressive peeks in this round.
It's almost nonsensical, but he's feeling it, and he's working it, and it's going well so far. He doubles back just in time. Amali's gonna burn, but that's not quite a smoke. They're trying to block the vision, just trying to deny any chance for him to cut them off, and it works. It's labored. It's all the grenades basically they have, but it doesn't stop him. Farley in with another. He's looking for the ace, a glass cannon ace from Farley. He misses the last shot, and Stiko swoops in for it, but still, my man, what a play. What a round from Farley. The boldness of each and every one of those fights.
What an overperformance. That is absolutely insane. What a play from Farley. That just the first peak is just so outrageous.
Wow.
I think there are very few people who would dare do something like that. But look at the situation that they put themselves in. They've kept themselves in this game. They've put G2 on pistol. They're playing to tie the score. The HE could be devastating. The follow-up MP9 as well. With the auto shotgun on the site, he's making paper. He's just printing money now. That's the QE right there. They've just given themselves a hell of a lot of money just with the shotgun alone.
Just ripping them, man. Ka-thunk, ka-thunk from the back of that bomb site. The noob tube
package.
Woo, goes big. And now we sit pretty at 14 rounds apiece. CTs take a pause. I think the severity of the situation starts to sink in here. Winner, the Group A winners match. GODSENT looking for the playoffs with a 2-0 upset over G2, a possibility. But of course, we have seen G2 shine in some of these rounds, and at least they've got all the weapons, barring Kenny S's op. It's AKs in the 29th.
In relation to stimulus packages and inflation and so on, I actually bought, I think it was a $2 trillion note of the old Zimbabwean currency from eBay yesterday.
Nice.
Which is in the post. I used to give the $1 billion notes to people as gifts because, you know, I'm kind of weird, so there we go. Well, GODSENT have put themselves, they've got reasonable money for round 30 should it be required, but they're in, wow, I really don't know now. G2 in the late game are getting some rounds here and there. They've had some shockers though. Game point is upon us, and maybe match points as well. Now we'll look at G2's pace. The initial smokes will come out early on this occasion. All the incendiaries are gone for GODSENT, and we've got an early kill for Nexar. God knows how he got there, but that could change everything.
That is wild. He slips out of the smoke into vent before the CT tries to take the exact same position, and whether Madden knew it or not, he just puts his head to the end of the barrel. He makes it way too easy. All of a sudden, G2, they're going to try to compromise this B site. They've still got Nexa up on A. but it's a 3-man cohort just pummeling their way through decontamination. A CT rests above them, and Stiko, 2 kills as Farley gives cover off the op. Bomb's been dropped, but there is still a T in Hunter. He executes the sniper, and Stiko stops it. 3 frags for him. It is GODSENT just staring overtime at least in the face. The bomb is down, and Nexa in a very dark place, trying to find some sort of a route here, some sort of a direction, and Stiko just shuts it all down. The 1-man army, 4 frags on that B site, Bardolph. GODSENT secure OT.
Another multi-frag for Stiko on the B bomb site. After losing a player so early, it's so awkward for GODSENT. On a map like Nuke as well, you're really stretched. Oh dear, G2, a frustrating series for them. And look at what they've got to fight with now. We've got Mac 10s coming out on Nuke. Does that force their hand into a fast play towards the A bomb site, or do they try to get something more out of it? Are we going to see a vent dive from them? How do they get these Mac 10s into play? Do they go first on the ramp? Do they take the bullets for the president? Are they playing VIP mode?
Looks like Outer's the hit.
Outside after you, sir.
You know what, James? This recalls me back to what had worked for G2. The way they punctured through this defense was by trying to wrap around towards Hell on the outer yard. They throw up the smokes, but they don't play behind it. And Farley, ooh, dangerously close with Matt in the barrel. The sniper is spotted. Nexa, they could do this. They had a 4 versus 5 last round that GODSENT still clawed back from, and this one looks good. Nexa, right on the side of the smoke, taking the whole round into control, doing it on his own. He could look for an ace, unless Stiko has other ideas. He had a 4K last round. Does he have this in him?
Okay, well, he's got 8 HP in a 1 versus 4 now. He's taken 1 player up, but he's got so much to do. And again, that angle is nigh on impossible in a situation such as this. And it does not appear that this game is over yet. I cannot believe the situation G2 started in and what Nexa did. It was fight or flight for Maiden after Farley went down, and he chose to jump around the corner and then go back to the well. He just got snapped by Nexa. He got his neck absolutely snapped like a falcon taking a pigeon out in a city square. And here we are, G2 given an extra life. They found a 1-up somewhere. And maybe they can just take a sigh of relief as things get reset in overtime.
Big plays from Stiko and Nexa. Closing few moments of regulation. Now it's going to be Farley pressured as he lands that op shot, but doesn't quite hit the kill. That's a collateral shot that takes down 1 and drops Jax to 14 HP. Madden in with another. It's the even 3v3, but Stiko through the fire and the flames just rips out the solo peak and could have just ripped out the hearts of G2 here in the first round of overtime. Kenny S barely alive. Hunter's going to plant this bomb, and the retake's on.
Hot flash through the smoke, and the bomb plant is taken out for free. Kenyas in the red, but he's in a 1 versus 2 following that kill onto Maiden. Now, he is a very capable sniper. They really have to be synchronized like Olympic swimmers if they want to take him out here. Trying to use the cover as much as he can. He's got some sound cues from Stiko. He's on the pistol. They know Kenny is tagged. What? No! Just stop it, Stiko. What? I can't believe he's just done that.
Excuse me?
Counter-terrorists win.
I can't believe that just... What have I witnessed? That is an atrocity.
I'm insulted.
Somebody tweet the UN. We've got a disaster on our hands.
And you just know, like, if it's not Stiko with the jumping USPS headshot, that Kenny S hits those kinds of kills. And then suddenly we've got that exciting 1 versus 1 on our hands. But my God, Stiko, give the man a chance. He's one of the biggest reasons they even got here. Shutting down that B bomb site once upon a time was Stiko, but here we go into the A site very fast. Farley emerging through the side of the smoke. Madden's got the 1 crystal. He's hiding in the back of the bomb site. Kenny S able to trade alongside Hunter to get us into the 3v3, but do they want to pressure this? Do they want to give a chance for G2 to set up into the post plant? A frag grenade flies by our screen. It's a 3D experience here on the A site. Kenny S trying to hone in on Stiko. He loses that fight. A man advantage back. It looks like Hunter wants to activate over towards Mini, but instead, he's just going to slip into the corner here and try to buy some time. He peeks into Squeaky, gets one, all on Amanek. Oh, and he too taken down. It's Zen on the retake with the 2 crucial kills that gives GODSENT a second in OT.
Boy, oh boy, these fights are getting wild. Moving into the last round, they'll just take the AKs through as they can buy the AWP once again. It's great they have that awareness. Again, the focus is there for the CT side. Get themselves an extra one-tap machine. Man, these fights are real. And in those A-site fights, Nexa has been a repeated problem around that Squeaky area. So for him to go down early was a problem for G2. But man, that really was a war of attrition. Wasn't sure which way it was going to go. Looking really hairy for GODSENT at points. Outside, well, stuck in mini, the smoke up, flashes all over the shop. But here they are, 2 for 2, looking to get 3 match points as they move into the second half. But there's one more round for G2 to fight for.
Forget for a moment that it took a ridiculous play for Nexa to even get them into overtime. So this T side, they can get 1 for 3. That would be huge, but the grenade is damning. It's damaging from Stiko. He will die as Farley peeks back around from hell. He's got himself a multi-kill and then some. Hunter executed from the back. And unless G2 Esports can push this bad boy into the double overtime, James, it's looking like GODSENT with the 2-0. They've got 3 map and match points. And we're gonna take a pause to cool things off before the second T side gets started.
Wow. Things really heated up in overtime, but GODSENT, they're just coming back with a vengeance. They're stamping their authority on this entire series. Train was an absolute spanking, and maybe the end of Nuke will be as well. 3 match points for GODSENT. The game is in their hands now. Let's not forget their second pistol, though, on Train. They capitulated there, but I can't imagine the same will happen here. Crystal creeping in the smoke towards 3Bs. Just showing, drawing attention. Somehow finds his way out of it. Hunter doesn't know what's going on. He can pass on that information towards the bomb site itself. Nexa moving into the site now. There are flames all over the place, but he's still alive. Only for a second as I say that. It's just Jackson, Kenny remaining. Kenny not giving up on this one just yet. These rounds are so violent.
It's carnage. It's chaos. Farley getting the kill from beyond the grave. The Molotovs that pop on the back of that bomb site as Nexa falls down into it. He was called out. He was called out before he could even hit the ground. But Kenny S, a zinger of a headshot over the Squeaky box. That's the one that really seals the deal here, at least for the 1 CT round. 2 more to go for GODSENT to close.
Now, G2, got to be careful. They don't invest too much in one position, have too much weakness in another, depending on the play GODSENT choose to make. It's just a scary time for G2 altogether. As we can see, there is a focus on the outside. And there's plenty of sound cues as well. Amanek and Hunter focusing on the A-box. The entire GODSENT squad are outside. They've got no lurker in lobby or anything. But in a situation like this, maybe they count on G2 not making a proactive play.
If I'm Jax, I'm nervous. At any moment, these T's could just come bursting out of either side of the bomb site. He's going to play on the double doors. Now, this does keep him from being peeked off decon. So unless they swing the 2 doors behind him open, he can wait for them to come out onto the bomb site. And you know that the moment you exit from the decon door as a T, your attention is drawn over towards ramp or even the rafters above you. So I do think Jax is in a prime position, but it's going to take a teammate to draw attention away from him, or else he may be in no man's land. Oh, Madden, he tries to swing around the side of the smoke. There's the trade frag, back to the 3v3. Kenny, he drops the shot, and he can't stop bomb either. The 2 Ts fall back into decon. We've got Nexa already down from vent with Amanek right beside him. This is a 2 versus 2 clash on decon for what could be the entire match. Crystal, he's unable, but Zen, he's got that double. It's all on Kenny. He's got murder holes through the window, through the door. And he's on top of the bomb now. Low HP for the 2 other Ts, and he's already halfway through it, but Farley just executes from behind. And the unthinkable, an absolute comeback from GODSENT on Nuke. 4 T rounds in each half of regulation. My God, James, they actually closed this. What an awesome upset.
That was one of the most enjoyable performances by any team under the GODSENT brand that I have seen in many years of Counter-Strike. That was absolutely awesome. The entire series was fantastic. Again, it was a clinic on train. There were so many little things you could just show as an example of good CTCS proactive plays, taking positions away from your opponent, stopping them from exploiting your numbers in one place, in another place. All these kinds of things, they just felt strong on Nuke as well. You know, moving into that second half, felt like there was a fair chance they had enough rounds if they can just continue their form, and they certainly did, bringing it back. We saw a late resurgence from G2, but GODSENT just came in there like a truck and they smashed.
Yeah, and then they just spun the tires on top of them and really just added the insult to the injury. So hot damn. Well done, GODSENT. Of course, we don't say goodbye to G2. This was that winner's match. They will have more chances. There's plenty of Counter-Strike coming at you guys. The CS Summit 6, nowhere near finished. But here for the B stream on the 6th day, we will, of course, call it a close for now. We're going to have another game in a little bit, but I don't think, James, I don't think you're joining me for that one. So
I'm being deported again.
Yeah, we're getting you out of here. I mean, we got to get you out of that jungle, man. We got to extract you before, I don't know, you catch malaria or something.
I'll be back tomorrow, though. So I'm not going too far away. I found tunnels. I'm going to be back in the country again.
Okay, sounds good, man. Thank you for stopping by for this best of 3. Thank you guys for tuning into this first match. Of course, I'll be back in just a little bit. 50 minutes until our next best of 3. See you guys there.